Well, what's going on in Egypt is obviously very, very serious and threatening in many ways. And it's very important for the government in Egypt to honor the process, to exercise as much restraint as possible, to urge its security forces to exercise restraint, and to listen carefully to the will of the people, to the urgency of the need to have accountability and transparency. I would also urge President Mubarak, who has been a friend to the United States and a friend personally, I would urge him to tell the people of Egypt that the process of succession of leadership within Egypt will be one of respect for a democratic process, and that the people will have the opportunity to make that choice in a legitimate way. I think that is significantly at the root of much of this feeling of anger and frustration, as well as other issues. But I think that's one of the key ones.
Now today we saw that Mubarak put Mohammed al-Baradi under house arrest. How far do you think the U.S. will go to back Mubarak as he seems to be stifling the opposition?
Well, when you say the United States stands firmly behind the democratic process, and we have urged President Mubarak, many of us in many different meetings, to respect the need for reform and to open up the process and have a legitimate democratic process. You know, he's an important ally. He made very courageous steps, as did President Sadat, who paid for those steps with his life, and President Mubarak has been a critical player with respect to the entire process in the Middle East peace process and many other issues. We have great respect for that process. But we've always said to him that it is critical to pay attention to the increasing urgent demands of a younger generation who feel stifled and in some cases oppressed. And that's got to be addressed. If that can be addressed in a peaceful way in these next days, everybody benefits. And I hope that that is what will happen.
From your understanding of what's going on the ground, I think I saw a headline that the military's gone into Suez. Do you think this situation is going to escalate, or?
I hope it isn't going to escalate, but there is a record of very tough responses in these kinds of situations within Egypt. So again, I think our appeal to President Mubarak is to really take into account the potential downside consequences of his unleashing the security forces in a way that will threaten rights and I think only exacerbate matters.
What do you think inspired the unrest we're seeing now? Do you see this as spillover?
Well, I think this has been growing in possibility for some period of time, not just in Egypt, but in other countries in the region. I spoke in Doha last year at the Islamic Forum and addressed this question of the absence of good governance and of the absence of legitimate efforts to meet the needs of a growing younger population that doesn't get adequate education and doesn't get adequate job opportunities. That's a problem for every country. And I think it's just bubbling to the surface now in this particular moment.